welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. As you know, if you have been following along, we do have new tires. We got a new wheel and tire setup for the car. A lot of you have been asking how they are. Unfortunately, around here it has been pouring rain and gross weather for the last little bit, so I haven't had time to really get out and do a full review, but I thought I'd do this one, just my initial thoughts on the tires. Had them on for a little over a week now, so I've driven them mostly in the rain, and we'll just go over a little bit of my initial thoughts in this video. If you want to see a solid review, I'm going to go out and test some 0 to 60 times and all that, but of course, obviously we have to wait for the weather to warm up a bit, and obviously it can't be raining. So when that time comes, the full review will be out, but for now, just to get something out here for you guys, give you guys a little bit of my first thoughts and how they've been holding up so far. Alright, as you can see by the look of the car how filthy she is. It has been pouring rain. Hopefully the wind isn't picking up too much on here. It's starting to get pretty windy as well. Our blue patch that we've got to work with is shrinking by the minute, so we'll hopefully get this done before the rain comes back. But these are what we are working with. They're the Firestone Firehawk Indy 500s, and these are on my 2019 Mustang GT, if you don't know. We've got recently these new Niche Misano wheels, 20-inch front and back. We've got 305 in the rear and a 275 here in the front. You can see the tread pattern, same front and back, with a 35 sidewall if you're wondering. The car is lowered, so if you do not have a lowered vehicle, it won't be quite as tight as mine, but this is the look that you'll have going on. If you're wondering, it's Steeda Progressive Sport Springs, so it's 1.25 up front and 1 inch in the rear for the drop, and it fits just perfectly. All right, let's fire up, go for a little spin before the water starts falling. Let everybody get by us. Hopefully people stay out of the way. And for those of you who have a Mustang, the warning that pops up is my tire sensor pressure monitoring system. I didn't set the new TPMS sensors on the wheels to the car yet, so now every time I fire it up, it tells me I got no tire pressure. It annoys me, but every time I get home, I forget to set them, and it is what it is. I'll get to it eventually, but for now, like I said, let's go for a little spin. Initial thoughts, what I want to say to everybody, and this is probably partly because of the wider tires. Like I said, the stock tires on this car were 255 up front and 275 in the back. Now we have 275 up front and 305 in the back. But driving to work and back, because I do daily this car, there's a lot of high traffic areas with a lot of heavy trucks and stuff. It's a big trucker route, and I don't know if you guys have it around your area, but you start to get a little divot in the ground where the wheels of the vehicles are traveling in the lane. And with the 255, 275 setup, there's a word for it, can't remember it off the top of my head, but basically when you're driving down the road, your tires with the Pilot Sports on there, which were what this car came with, would try to pull you into those little rivets in the ground. So if you weren't paying attention and you didn't have your hands on the wheel, or you're driving just kind of lazy, like a lot of us do, and the car was to get pulled into one of those rivets, especially on that busy area like I was talking about, if I had no hands on the wheel, I tested it out one time, it would almost pull the car into the oncoming lane or into the next lane beside you. And like I said, I'm not sure if that is necessarily to do with the brand of tires. I think it's more to do with the width of tires. But if you're looking at this setup and these tires, they do not do that anymore. I drive down the same road as I usually do, and you feel a little bit of tug back and forth, but nothing near as much as it would be with a stock setup. That's why I figure it's mostly to do with the wider tires. But now you know, if you're to get these in the back of your head, it'll fix that issue as well. Now, like I said, I have driven on these for about a week and a half. I know these videos are all spaced apart, so this might be a month or so for you guys, but for me, this is a week and a half later. And you can see I can let go of the steering wheel. This is a pretty bumpy road because they're doing a lot of construction here. They ride just fine. They are a 35 sidewall. I know a lot of people that go to the 20s are kind of up in the air between getting a 20-inch rim with a 30 sidewall or a 20-inch rim with a 35-inch sidewall. Because I daily the car, I got mine with 35. Gives you a little more cushion for bumps and stuff like you guys seen back there. When you're driving around, you don't have to worry about the harsh ride. You don't have to worry about the car bottoming out, anything like that. I know I did give you guys just a quick look outside the outside the vehicle before I hopped in here. If you're wondering, the car is lowered on Steeda progressive springs, so it's 1.2 inches up front and an inch in the back. So this isn't the look you'll get if you just swap your stock tires over. Of course, you do have to lower the car as well. But having said that, with the 35s on there, or 35-inch sidewall, still tight, but they do fit. No rubbing, no issues. I hit speed bumps all the time. I live in a townhouse complex, and they riddled them with speed bumps because people are stupid and let their kids play on the road instead of in the yard. And everybody knows, Strata, people complain, so they put a bunch of speed bumps in, is what it is. But no issues going over any of them with the car. So if you're worried about bumps, speed bumps, little bumps in the road, I wouldn't worry too much about that either. You should be just fine. Now, grip, obviously, like any tire, these are performance tires, but any tire in the rain, if you are turning a corner or even in a straight line, if you give her too much, they're gonna let go. Initially, when I put them on, they were obviously new tires, get a little greasy, and even on drive pavement, the first little couple pulls I did was kind of squirrely, but once you get that initial film worn off the new tires, they are sticking perfectly good. You can see we do have a little bit of sun coming out here now. Maybe I lied to you guys, it might get sunny for once. But like I said, they're brand new. Take them out, maybe do a couple small little burnouts, get the gunk off there so you're just working with the solid rubber, and then go on from there, because you will be a little squirrely, like I said, when you turn an opener up. But I'll show you guys here. We'll just do a little pull as long as there's no cops around the corner. Here, roads are not the best around here right now. They are building stuff everywhere, it seems. Anywhere that used to be trees is now housing and townhouses and condos. And when they're doing construction, they dig up the roads for water and electrical and all that crap. So roads suck. But having these tires as well, another thing with a 35-inch sidewall is the car is actually lifted slightly. I know stance-wise, like rubber to fender, looks the same. That is because of the sidewall and the size of the tires, but overall the tire itself is taller. So the car was actually raised about a ½ inch. So if you're worried about bottoming out or anything like that and you're going bigger tires and you're watching this video, keep in mind that overall the whole thing will look the same, but your car will actually be lifted slightly, so you got less of a chance of hitting all the goodies on speed bumps and stuff like that if you're worried. And then another reason that I'm sure a lot of you guys are watching this video, or why you might have clicked on this video, is price point. I mentioned this on the videos of when I first purchased these tires, and they are almost half price compared to any competitor's brand that are the same performance aspect as these. These are a summer tire, summer performance tire. They're meant to handle the power, they're meant to put you to the ground, and they do that all with, like I said, almost half price. These were $350-ish, I can't remember, give or take, per tire. Michelin Pilot Sports for the same size tire, same sidewall, same width, same rim diameter, everything like that, were over $600 per tire. So even if the traction, once I test these out, is slightly less on the road or on the track or wherever you're using these things, I think price point, saving almost $300 plus, depending what size you're going with, per wheel, or per tire is a no-brainer for me. I would gladly lose a little bit of traction and save myself. You know, you buy tires. If you're a track guy, you're going through tires like nobody's business. You might have to buy 2 or 3 sets of these things a year, depending where you live and how much you're driving. And having said that, you save, you know, like I said, $300 per tire. You're looking at basically a free set once a year compared to the competitors where, you know, you're buying a new set if you're spending double the amount of money. So why not? So that's the good on the tires. There is one thing that I wanted to mention that I'll put, not really, I wouldn't call it bad. I would just put it on the list of things to keep in mind if you're really picky. Now I only have the Pilot Sports, of course, to compare these to, so keep that in mind. But between the Pilot Sports and these, the road noise is slightly worse on these tires. I noticed it right away when I jumped in the car, first time the tires were on, because of course I've driven with the Pilot Sports for the last 3 years. Now throwing these on, you could hear the tires, not a lot, like I said, nothing to make me change my mind or anything like that. But if you're worried about it and you're really picky, just slightly more road noise. I'm sure you guys can just hear either the fan going or the exhaust, of course. You probably don't hear really the tires rubbing and making noise on the ground, but it is something just to keep in mind. Not anything that I would change my mind of getting these tires for. It's not like it's droning or making you go deaf driving around, but for me, I noticed it right away. But now, having driven on it for a couple of weeks, I can tell you that I don't know if it was just, you know, the initial tire, like I said, same with the slickness of it when you first put them on, but I don't notice it as much anymore. If you're sitting there and you really focus on it, it's kind of one of those things, it's like a ticking clock in your house. Your brain just kind of puts it in the back. It is there, but you don't hear it. So if you're driving down the road and you really listen for it, then yes, you can hear the tires. But otherwise, when you're driving around, or you got your music playing, or whatever you do when you're in your car, you don't really notice it after a while. So like I said, just slightly noisier, but nothing to make it a deal breaker for me. And that'll about do it, guys. Like I said, I haven't had time to go out. I've been stuck at work on all the sunny days, and I've been stuck at home on all the rainy days. So now that we're getting closer to spring, we should be a little warmer, a little drier. So the performance test will be coming with these wheels and tires. If I missed anything on this one and you want to know something specific, maybe you're wondering what's what with a certain part of the tire, just drop a comment down below. I have no problem answering all the comments, and it'll be something I can throw into the video when I finally go out and test these things like they should be tested. But for now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share the video with all your friends, and hopefully we can catch you guys in the next one.